Hey guys, my name's Crystal Kenny, and I'm in love with creating. All things artistic and imagination involved. I'm an American girl who chased her creative dreams all the way to Paris, France, making a living using photography. This podcast takes you inside the stories of all the artsy folks I've met along the way and gives you that extra push to discover your creative gifts. The desire to create is deeply inside each and every one of us, and I give you the tools and inspiration to find a new way of living a more creative life. This is La Vie Creative, the podcast. Today on the show, I interview Parisian pop musician Veronica Charnley. Veronica founded the band Plumes, which is a Paris-based avant pop project. We talk about how her life has changed since moving to Paris and how music influences her life on a daily basis. So welcome to the show, Veronica. How are you doing today?
I'm very good, thank you. I just finished a session at the gym, so I feel energized.
Nice. Yeah. You're off to a great start for the new year, already going to the gym.
Yeah, yep. I hope to keep it up. I did some recording yesterday as well. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good so far about 2023.
Feeling productive. Well, I want to talk about your start. You live in Paris. You're originally from Canada. Tell me a little bit about what brought you to France.
Well, in 2014, I got a grant from the Canada Council for the Arts. And so it was a grant to come and just compose, live in Paris, allow myself to be influenced by the city, and also to take some private lessons with Vincent de Clerc, who teaches at one of the conservatories. So I was taking composition lessons. Composition, nice. Arranging.
And had you already dreamed of moving to France? Was that a dream, or it kind of just happened?
I had applied to, like how it works with the Canada Council is that you have to propose like a project. So it's really wide, and so I proposed I did want to come to Paris. I just found I visited for a week a few years before I came in 2014, and I just felt really at home here in a strange way. My mom is French Canadian, and we don't get along. I'm kind of estranged from my family, but so there was the French element, but of course very different because the accent is different and everything is the architecture. So there was something kind of nostalgic for me about France that was connected to my mom, but in a slant way. So I just felt immediately like, at home, and I mean, it's such a beautiful city too. So the beauty is just so alluring.
Alluring, inspiring. And talk about your project. So your project is called Plumes, and it's a Paris-based avant pop project. So tell me what that means. What is this project?
Well, I really like to mix different elements of pop music and classical music. And so instead of just writing a pop song and having sort of like a classical string arrangement for that pop song, I really like to take inspiration from like forms and or just rhythmic complexity of classical music and incorporate it really into pop music. So really having a meeting point of the two genres. And I find that this exploration to me is like very, very interesting. I don't get bored with this because I grew up, I'm sort of backwards. Like I grew up with pop music and I later on got into classical music. Usually it's kind of the other way, I think, for most people I've met. And so I kind of like learned solfège like backwards, I guess you could say. Like I learned solfège by transcribing my own improvisations.
Wow.
So it's a bit, it's like, and it's definitely not a normal parcours or, but so it's also my background that plays into this desire to like, for me, I guess maybe classical music is kind of a rebellion because it's not something I come from. It's not from my childhood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's interesting to mix those two things together because I feel like it's sometimes they're at opposite ends of the spectrum. I just interviewed a classical pianist, and she was talking about how like the original classical musicians were the pop stars, were the, you know, rock stars, because that's all that existed. And now today we have pop, we have all kinds of different things. So why did you choose classical music to mix in with that? Like that just to you felt like the way to go, like what would work well together?
I think it's kind of deep. It's more like a sensibility. I think that essentially like I'm really sensitive to um adventurous harmonies and things like this. And so I think for me, yeah, it's sort of something maybe innate in my personality that is drawn to classical music, the complexity of it and how emotionally it seems to just be very, well, endlessly interesting to me.
I like that. Endlessly interesting. You followed just like where that passion was leading and found a way to combine the two. And
I love
through like, oh yeah, what were you saying? You love what?
I really loved the Impressionist composers, you know, like Debussy and Poulenc and Fauré, and so that was a little bit why I came to Paris, even though you know they've all been since dead and stuff. But but I still associate those. I know, like you know, people from Paris who you know born and raised in Paris will find that a little bit silly, but I don't know. There's something about, I mean, since Paris hasn't really changed that much, it's like you could imagine you're living in the same environment as they, and this is inspiring to me.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like there's an energy here. This comes up a lot in the podcast about, you know, all these people come here and it's obviously it's changed from what they might have read about. Like a lot of people are inspired by Hemingway and things like that. But it's kind of like you're walking in their footsteps. You're kind of like seeing the life through how they lived it in a different time period. So it can be very inspiring.
Yeah, for sure.
And so talk to me about how your music has changed since moving to France. Like what has it changed? What has it inspired since moving here?
Well, that's that's a good question. So I originally came with my ex-husband, who is a contemporary composer, Jeff Holbrook, and we were in Plumes together for a long time since the beginning. So yeah, like 10 years we were in the band together and toured together. And so he did a lot of the arranging. Always did the songwriting, but he was more, you know, he was a multi-instrumentalist and came from more of a classical background. So he did a lot of that. And we came together. He had a job at IRCAM, Center for Research of Computer Music. And so anyway, we came together and 8 months later we separated. So he went back to Canada and I started arranging my music before that separation. So it was kind of like I just kept going, and I've been studying with my prof since. So for everything, I mean, I don't work with him anymore, and so I'm really doing all the arranging now. And that has influenced my songwriting. Just thinking about arranging more has influenced the composing, of course. And
yes, you have to do more.
Yeah, and it was really difficult on many levels, but I'm really glad that I have a deeper involvement in the arranging and composing now. I mean, I just feel like I would give him more like skeletal things to work with, and then move on to the next and move on to the next. And this time, I'm really seeing everything to the end. I'm seeing all the songs.
Yeah, you're more involved in the whole process, which probably helps you evolve as an artist too, is like knowing all the different levels of creating a song.
Oh yeah, totally. It has really influenced me. And I think even just the attitude, moving away from this attitude I grew up with of the Protestant work ethic and constantly working. I think in Paris, probably you and many Anglo artists can relate to this. You just feel less guilty taking like vacation or taking time to hang out with friends in coffee shops. And I think overall there's just a lot more sort of room in my music. There's a lot more, it breathes a little bit more. I think I can tell from my earlier compositions sometimes that this anxiety around kind of wanting to prove that I'm doing something clever was there. And I think now I'm a little bit more like Latin and more laid back in my approach to song.
I think that's good. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I felt the same way, like just coming from the States, it's like work, work, work. Your worth is determined by what you've done and how far your success and money. And then like France, and especially as being like a freelancer or someone working for yourself as a musician or myself as a photographer, it's like, oh, I can't take a day off. I'm lazy. And now like moving to France, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need days off. I want to just like not check my email. And like, I think that it allows space for that you're allowed to do that and not feel guilty.
Yeah, totally. And I think for me, I can hear there's more sensuality in my music, I think now. Like it just sounds like I've been on vacation, you know?
Sounds relaxed.
Yeah, a little bit
like
more.
That.
Yeah. A little bit more like leg room. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense. So talk a little bit about some of the topics in your music. Like, where do you find inspiration? Talk about how you sit down and write a song.
Well, often I usually start with the music and not the words, because to me, melody is, I don't know, more sort of essential than lyrics. But I mean, you know, obviously not all songwriters work that way. But I usually start with what they call in here in France, yaourt, which is sort of nonsense melody where you're building a top line with sort of nonsense words.
That was fun.
Or
so you just kind of like jerk. You just like let it all flow out.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I guess, a kind of improvisation. And then so I use recording a lot, and then my classical training comes in where I write down actually on paper what I'm doing, and then I can kind of structure it from there. But
I like that because you said the tune could be more important because it's like what's catchy, what gets our brain involved, and then because there's so many people who are like, oh, I never actually listened to the lyrics of a song before. You know, they're just like, they like the song.
Yeah. There's two different kinds of people. Like, I can't put a song on and not listen to the lyrics, so I can't work while I'm. Yeah, but other people don't hear them, which is really interesting.
Yeah, it is, and that's why maybe like starting with the melody could be more interesting in some ways because that's what's going to draw everybody in, maybe. So tell me about like the general vibe of the audience. Do you already kind of know the feeling once you walk on stage?
I'm usually more concerned with creating a vibe on the stage that people can participate in rather than the other way. So it's a little more like, I guess, narcissistic in a way. I mean, it's more, you know, I'm trying to show them how I feel in my intimacy, I guess you could say. But then, I mean, I do connect with the audience. Obviously, it's such a pleasure to see people. And also there is like once in a while, there is some humor in my music, and I love it when I see people laugh a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's.
You still get stage fright? You ever feel like nervous going out?
Not too bad. No, I honestly, because I do so much sort of performing in my life in general. Like I do like a few concerts for kids a week. And so I'm just so used to being in front of people, but, no, honestly, I'm more just like afraid because my music can be a little bit complicated in terms of the guitar parts. I play electric guitar on stage, and I play guitar in not a very guitaristic way. So a lot of like melodies and so that is more like my concern is just like staying on top of the guitar parts and being present vocally and so honestly, I don't really. I think my main goal is to enjoy and to enjoy it, because it usually always goes well if I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah, they can kind of feel how you're feeling, and you're having fun anyway. So that's what it's all about. And what do you hope
Yeah.
to do with your music?
Well, right now I'm working on an album, so I'm going to be releasing like quite an album's worth of music in the next year. I'm actually collaborating with a rapper in Toronto who
Oh,
his name is
wow.
More or Less. Yeah, he well, we're collaborating in the sense that he's creating beats for my songs. So sometimes I start with a beat that he has, and then sometimes I just send him like a section of a song and he'll create a beat. It's sort of a back and forth like that. So that's been something we've worked on for the past year. And I met him really like online through Instagram during like the really heavy confinement period, which was actually like I connected with. I figured, he's in Toronto, but I can't see anyone right now, so I may as well just connect with lots of people around the world. And actually, the lockdown was good for me creatively that way, in
Yeah.
terms of connecting with people, ironically.
Yeah, because you found time to like reach out to people, and with the
Yeah.
internet, it's totally changed. I mean, it's so cool how you can like make a song with this guy. You're not even in the same country, not even in the same time zone.
Yeah, we never actually have met each other, and we're working on like 10 songs. So
I love
it's
that.
pretty cool. Yeah. Well, anyway, for me, when I collaborate with others, I'm usually not collaborating in real time. It's usually like a passing back and forth of ideas anyway. So we transfer files
Very
like
cool.
that.
And
Yeah.
what is the difference you feel between your audiences in France and Canada? Like, do you feel a difference in performing here versus there, or what are some of the changes?
I feel like audiences in Paris are really, really respectful and very attentive. And I feel my memory, I think in Canada, maybe because I was younger when I was performing in Canada too. So I don't know. I'm not very objective. But I felt like there was this kind of skepticism more in Canada when I was performing. It could be, I mean, that could just be my warped perception as well.
hmm Yeah, because of our different ages and our confidence and things like that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, but no, there's a warmth in France that I feel very embraced here,
hmm
and I also feel maybe because some of my new music is pretty vulnerable and pretty personal, and well, I mean, maybe I feel more comfortable in France expressing these kinds of emotions than in Anglo part of the world.
hmm Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because like I think that comes up a lot on the podcast is about how the French are more welcoming to, culture and the arts in general. Just it's for all classes and everybody, and it's just
Yeah.
everybody wants to do it. Everybody wants to be involved in it.
Yeah, and it's something really respected to be an artist. Like, yeah, and in Canada, I mean, not so much. Not I would not say like as much.
hmm It's the same in the States. Yeah, it's kind of like you're gonna get a real job
Oh
unless you're
yeah,
like super
totally. Yeah,
famous.
yeah, exactly.
And
And
what is the role of music in today's society, in your opinion?
I think it's incredibly therapeutic, cathartic. I think it's really important because there's so much going on right now politically, and well, there's I think it's just good for people's mental health to be making music and to be engaging with music, um, and to connect with emotion, because uh, it's important to not be in denial of all the things that we feel. I think music can help us connect to
Yeah, it's
emotion
very
and to each
therapeutic.
other. Yeah,
Yeah, to each other. Because especially when you go to concerts or you're like even in the car listening to music together, it's like it changes the whole emotion, the whole feeling of what's going on.
yeah, Yeah, and yeah, even like I was at the gym. Music is essential. I don't think I'd be as fit as I am without music. So I have music to thank. I'm
Yeah,
not that fit. I'm not that fit. Let me just clarify that. But it
it pushes
helps.
you to keep going. Yeah, to have fun with it and to work harder.
Hmm.
And do you have advice for people who are searching for their creative gifts that feel like they're maybe not very creative or they don't know what they enjoy? Like, what would be your advice?
For me, like Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way book was really, really important because I didn't really come from an artistic family or milieu. And so that book to me was kind of a very motherly like voice to sort of encourage me to develop an artistic lifestyle where really you're creative in your everyday life. For like the morning pages, I'm sure you know about all that. 3 pages of stream of consciousness in the morning where you just wake up and you write whatever comes to mind. You don't edit yourself. I find that's a practice I've done for a long time, and I think it's a kind of way to get clarity on what matters to you. And of course, you need to understand that to create art, because you need to believe. You need to really believe in what you're saying. And in order to believe what you're saying, you need to understand what you want to say. So to me, this was the morning pages are really key. And also because I love playing with language, and oftentimes when I'm writing on the page and actually dragging the pen across the page, I'm surprised by what I write. And so this is I know I'm not the only writer who has this experience. It's
Yeah.
And to me, it's really longhand.
Writing it out, like using your hand to write.
Yeah. And so that's kind of a magical moment. I really, journaling is so great.
Yeah, so people, if you're feeling a little lost with like what's bringing you joy these days, just start doing, the daily pages, which is basically what you just said. You just write out 3 pages, just don't even censor yourself, just write it out. It's so useful to figure out a lot of things. And how do you define creativity in your own words?
I think it's almost like nature watching your brain.
I like that.
Yeah, so it's a period. It's like discovering, how you tick and what's important to you and how you view things. Everyone's unique, and I feel like everyone has a voice and something very unique to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nature watching your own brain. I like it. I never heard that one before.
I think I made it up.
Yeah, I like it. And why do you think creatives are attracted to Paris? Like, why do you think so many creatives come there?
Oh, I think, like the different eras of Paris and the idea that it is a city for artists, historically, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And then only recently, only after I was here for a while did I discover just how much the arts are supported, like with the system of l'intermittence du spectacle, which is basically like unemployment insurance for performing artists. So I finally have that status, which is, it's like a prestigious unemployment status.
I love that.
Stuff like that. And and people go out to see art, and else, so art and music. And so there's also audiences there. So.
And what's the best advice you've ever been given when it comes to, your creative endeavors?
Well, I suppose going back to that book, The Artist's Way, I think the advice of the morning pages and also the artist dates. So this is hard for like us North Americans who are encouraged all to work constantly. You have to make time to just fill the well, as Julia Cameron talks about. And so I think living in France has helped me to allow myself to go on artist dates, which are like just doing things on your own for the sole purpose of just stumbling across inspiration and filling the well, so that you have a well of inspiration to draw from. If you're working constantly, it doesn't work.
I completely agree. We need times of rest. We need to find new things that inspire us. It's constantly changing, and that's such great advice. And where is your work going? What's on the horizon? What are you excited about? What do you want to share with listeners?
Well, album's worth anyway. I don't know if I'm actually going to release the music as an album, but about 10 songs coming out. And also I'm writing music for a full-length film, and I'm excited about that. Yeah, it's called Demain sans mon père. It's by Olivier Wall. And so I'm doing a lot of multi-voice arrangements. It's a lot of my voice in harmonies with myself, basically, for the film, with a bit of bass flute and some percussion and stuff like that. So I'm working on that. That's in the works for the next few months. I'll be focusing on that.
Very cool. And where can people connect with you online and listen to your music and check your work out?
Well, let's see. I'm pretty active on Instagram. So my handle is Plumes_music. And then, my music is everywhere under the name Plumes. So Spotify, Deezer, all those. And then my website, if you want to see a little bit more, read a bit more about my journey, I guess. I hate that word. But anyway, it's Plumes. How do you say? Oh my gosh, I'm losing my English. Plumes how do you say tiret? Dash.
Dash.
Oh my gosh. Plumes-music.com.
You're so French now. I love it. She is fully integrated. Well, thanks so much for chatting with me today, Veronica. We'll share all that in the show notes. Check out her music, her work, and I'm looking forward to see what you do next.
Thank you so much, Crystal. Thank you.
Thanks so much for tuning in to La Vie Creative. You can find more information on MissParisPhoto.com. And if you enjoyed this show, please feel free to share and spread the word for all my creative guests. We have the power to help them to keep doing what they love. See you next time.